Alright peeps, check it out. This is your trig functions. It's also written up here. Derivatives of trig functions. Obviously you want to get those memorized. But this is where I learned cheat sheets in college. Because I needed to have all of this on my cheat sheet. Plus a lot of other stuff. Right? But this is like mandatory. Okay? Now, let's talk about these trig functions. To be able to do the power rule, right? Do you remember the power rule? I know it's been gone a week, so we're just going to practice a little bit. Alright, what do we do? What's y prime? What's dy dx? What's it equal?
I don't even know.
X
Come on.
plus 4.
What's 2 times negative?
Oh, negative 2x.
Negative 2x.
Forgot the negative, bucko.
Oh, thank you. Negative 2x.
4.
Plus 4.
That's it.
That's it.
Damn, I'm surprised I remember that. I was having a hard time.
Alright? Easy
You can't
peasy,
use
right?
red.
Huh?
You can't use red.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's
Wait, you're colorblind?
No, I just can't see it because
It's
I
too
got
far
it,
away.
I just can't.
So dy dx was actually equal to negative 2x. We're taking this function, times it by a negative. Right? Taking 1 away from it, that leaves 1. Then we have this, and we're taking 1 times 4, which is plus 4, and taking 1 away from 1, leaving 0, so no x's. Now, just so you know, this would be 0x, and 0 times 0 is 0, so no big deal. And that's why it's just, the derivative is negative 2x plus 4. Alright, to be able to do number 2, what do we got to do first?
Hold up.
I'm on camera, so I can't.
Oh,
So, what do we do first?
Square rooted, I don't know.
Good, yeah, it's square rooted, so
Oh, that's where square rooted.
what can we do? Change it to x to the 1/2 power, right?
Okay.
Okay. Once it's to the 1/2 power, now we just multiply it through, right? What's 1/2 times negative? 1/2 times negative 1?
Negative 1/2.
Yes. And then, if we subtract 1 from 1/2, what do we get?
1/2.
Negative 1/2, right?
Cool.
Negative 1/2. So we got x to the negative 1/2. Alright? What happens to a negative exponent? What do we do with it?
Put it at the bottom.
Put it on the bottom. Good. So we're going to take this, move it down. So we get y prime is equal to negative 1 over 2x to the 1/2, right? Now, if I want to write that in exponential form, I could say or, right? 1 over, or negative 1 over 2 to the square root of x, right? Because the power is 1, but the root is 2. Does that make sense? Okay? And that's your answer. Anybody checking my work?
No.
You might want to. You know,
That is it.
I'm not always right. I'm just always right.
Negative 1 over 2 square root x.
Where's my paper? I was just copying it.
What's that?
I had a piece of paper I was copying. The test. Oh, here it is. Okay, next. What do I want to do next? Number 3. Okay, so. Yeah, doggy. You're doing it. You're doing it, son. All right, next.
Is there like a whole page?
Now, there's 2 ways. No, there's 2 ways to do this. You could use the quotient rule, which I haven't taught you yet. We're going to learn this week. Okay? Or we can move it to the top, right? And if I move this exponent to the top, then what happens to the exponent? It becomes negative, right? Okay. So I'm moving this guy up, right? So it becomes -1.
Wait, did you write that different from the paper?
This is the way it was in the paper. It's on the back.
Yeah,
It's
I'm okay.
number 3.
Oh,
I don't want to write this down only because I already did these equations. Or the number 1 and 2.
It's okay. These are just to help you out.
Alright, cool. So I don't have to write it down.
This one you do.
Alright.
I would, just so you have it.
I already have it in my before pages from
Okay.
other papers.
Well, okay. I'm just saying.
Fuck it. I'll put it over there.
That was bad though. Alright, so, it looked like me. Next is what? Y prime equals what? So -1 times 1 is -1, right? If I take 1 away from -1, I get -2, right?
Yeah.
And then if I want to rewrite that, I want to take this and bring it down, right? So y prime is actually equal to -1
Over x.
over x squared. Okay?
Okay.
why is it? Never mind.
And so how they do it is they do dy and then dx on the other side. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Okay? Dy dx. So the way they're doing it is they're saying dy is equal to, and if you multiply both sides by dx, it would go up to the other side, right? It would be equal to -1 over x squared dx. And so that's how you're seeing it on your paper. Does that make sense? So all they're doing is multiplying both sides by dx. And those are canceling, and so you end up with dx on the other side. That's all they're doing. So lots of ways to write the derivative. Okay? Next, how to do trig functions. We have to know the rules for the trig function. That's it. Okay? So, if I take the derivative of sine, I'm going to get cosine. That's it. So, if I take the derivative of sine 3x, I'm going to get cosine 3x. Okay?
Wait, that has a 5.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Shoot. And that's a little different. Because what I got to do is I got to do this the derivative of the trig function times the derivative of the inside. So what is the derivative of the inside? Well, now that I know that that's a 5, that's a little bit different. So then I would have times, and then what's 5 times 3?
15.
15, and 1 from 5?
4.
Okay? And so the way I would write this is I would keep my number out in front, and I would want to write this as 15x to the 4th times cosine 3x to the 5th.
15 times 4 cosine 3 to the 5th. Why did you put 3x5? I know it's like, I see that, but like, why did you just put like 4 instead?
Oh, because we don't do anything to the inside until we deal with the outside first.
Okay, cool.
So we deal with that, and then we deal with that.
Yeah, but we already did the inside. That's how we got 15 out of, or 15x4.
Yes, but that's time. That's to do the whole thing. You have to do the derivative of this, then you do the derivative of this times that. Okay. So that's the rule of trig functions. So you take the derivative. Now think about this. What if I do just cosine the derivative, or let's say of sine x, right? If I find the derivative of this, I'm going to get cosine x, right? But what is the derivative of x to the first power? It would be, what's 1 times 1?
1.
And then take 1 away from it. So it would just be 1, right? So what's 1 times cosine? Still cosine. And so that's why this stays that way, right? But you have to remember that you have to multiply whatever's on the inside after you're done finding the derivative of the actual function. That make sense? So, first outside, then the inside. Okay? That's a good question. Good?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're ready to start the real